Back in a minute, Biff. I'm back, Biff. Hey, little baddie. Good morning, little buddy.
Why did you want me already?
Because I love you. And I wanted a hug.
Okay.
Where is my hug?
I don't know.
I'm hugging you. You're not hugging me. That a good.
Okay. Oh, I got some red. I got a little bit of the red.
You got a little bit of red when you yelled so.
Okay. Okay.
Got school today, buddy?
Yeah. Today's Monday. And I actually know on Wednesday I have another school break.
On Wednesday? You do? Why?
Mommy told me.
She did?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that, but now I know.
I mean, Daddy told me.
Well, Daddy told you. Okay. Let's shut the door to grade then.
2000. For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the watchdog trusts.
A serious injury from an accident can be just the start of your worries. What if you cannot return to work? How do you take care of your family if you're disabled? At Gelner Law Offices, we represent seriously injured people and understand their problem. We know how to get you fair compensation. We will work hard to make sure you get the money you deserve for your losses. Don't go it alone. If you're hurt in an accident, call us at 304-242-2900 or visit us at gelnerlaw.com.
We'd like to help.
Hello, everyone. From the Watch.
Okay, thank you.
A few peaks of sunshine, a daytime high of 47. Chance of seeing a few scattered showers through the overnight, otherwise mostly cloudy, with a low near 41. Early morning showers scattered on your Tuesday, but daytime highs are in the lower 60s as the afternoon sunshine comes out. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Wake up, sleepy. Hey, wake up! Why would anyone want to wake up early? I'm so sleepy. Sleep well?
Not as well as you. I really need a nap.
Back to bed.
Are you serious? You can do that?
As a matter of fact, yes.
It is National Napping Day.
It's National Napping Day.
It is one of my favorite days, National Napping Day.
Nap time.
But first, it's showtime.
This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe and Brad Leonard behind the board in the producer's chair.
Holy mackerel, Biff, National Napping Day?
Yes, it is.
Now that's a day I can celebrate. Of course, I celebrate that day every day. But today I've got an excuse. When my wife starts to yell at me, what are you taking a nap for? Honey, today is National Napping Day. I have no choice. I have to have a little snooze in the middle of the day. Yes, I shall do that. Actually, it's going to be a hard day to do that because my little buddy, my 5-year-old grandson Teddy, is here. It is the last day. Well, actually, his spring break is over. He was with us all last week for his spring break, and now spring break is over. They get back to their school with 1 day of remote learning, so he's here at our house to do remote learning today. But I know what's going to happen during every break between classes, Biffy. Granddad, let's play Mario.
Mario Day today, huh?
It's going to be Mario Day. It's Mario Day every day when that kid is here. And oh my, I told you last week, his mother just yells at he and I together, will you two just be quiet? We get a little excited when we play Mario. Mario.
Sometimes video games can get a little intense.
It's what it is. And I always fall off and die, and Teddy laughs, and we have some fun. What are we doing today? Listen, we just got done talking to Evan Hansen, Monongalia County delegate about a coal comeback bill that he's talking about. It's kind of an interesting idea. We have to begin to recognize that coal is not what it once was. We don't have to write it off, but how do we prepare to transition? Delegate Hansen says the coal community comeback bill is a way to begin to take a look at how do we do that. If you missed the interview, it'll be up on the podcast page later on today. You can check our podcasts out at watchdognetwork.com. They're also on Apple Podcasts if you want to do that. The cop accused of killing George Floyd is on trial in Minneapolis. Our own morning show contributor Jack Rice has been doing analysis of this for MSNBC and some of the other big boys, but he was with us to give us his thoughts today. He'll be with us again next week as it enters into the opening statement phases. A bill introduced to the State House in West Virginia, which probably won't go anywhere, I hope, seems to suggest that everyone involved in the federal government is a traitor. It sets the West Virginia Constitution up as a supreme law, and no other law can come before it, including the federal government. I don't think it'll pass, but it's just weird that it's even there. It's never good news when you're arguing if you're the highest or almost the highest tax state in the country. That's what's going on in Charleston, as the Business and Industry Council said that under Governor Justice's income tax reduction / tax increase plan, we would have the highest state taxes in the country. And the governor says, well, now, that's not exactly true, because you got to add in another local tax in other states. And he's right. I don't disagree with that. But when you're having to argue, are we the highest or almost the highest, it's just not a good place to be. Is there a possible compromise between the city of Wheeling, local colleges, and Bluefield State? We'll look at what's been debated. Maybe there's a compromise on the front. Wheeling Mayor Glenn Elliott took me to the Twitter woodshed over the weekend for some things that I said on Twitter, which I think were fair and accurate, but he didn't think I represented his position quite well. You can check it out by going to my Twitter page and listen to the interview with Mayor Elliott and see if I properly assessed his position or not. We will talk more about this, I'm sure, over the next number of days. So those are some of the places we have been and places that we are going this morning here on the Watchdog Morning Show. One of the things that I learned about many years ago as the gas industry began coming into the local area was forced pooling, a concept that seems awfully, I'm not sure what I want to use, undemocratic, something to me. And I haven't heard much about it recently, but I guess it's coming back into the legislature again this year. Every year they throw some of these bills in, but this year bad bills seem to have a way of getting passed. So I wanted to talk with Christian Turek, who's a local attorney who represents some of the folks who have some concerns about this. Christian, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Howard. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. Let's get basic, first of all. What is forced pooling?
Forced pooling is basically a way of taking people who are unable to get a lease on the company's terms, taking their property, including it into a production unit or a pool, whereby they can develop the oil and gas minerals underneath their property without their express consent. So it's a way of just taking property so they can drill it for their own uses.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but basically if enough people, I don't know what the numbers are, but if enough people in what they call a unit accept the terms of the company, then the rest of the folks who maybe haven't accepted it are going to be forced to. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the way fracking is performed is that they have to put bulk acreage into what they call a production unit or a pool. That's why the term forced pooling comes around. So, these units, these production units or pools can be 640 acres, they can be 1,200 acres. The way that the current law that's being proposed reads is that they have to have 65% of the unit under lease, and then the remaining 35%, they can go ahead and force pool at will. The issue with that, it seems like it's a high number. First of all, it's not a high number when you compare it to other forced pooling statutes across the country. But second of all, these companies have a way of just gerrymandering these production units. I mean, they look like the most ugly things you could see out there. They look like congressional districts. They cut them and paste them in any shape and manner to fulfill their needs. So, if you're thinking, hey, I got this set block of acreage, I need 65% up, and that's going to be difficult for me to get, it's not going to be difficult for these companies. I think it's going to be a very rare instance where there's going to be unleased acreage out there that they're not going to be able to force pool.
is it based, that 65%, Christian, is that based on the number of land owners or, mineral rights owners, or is it based on acreage? In other words, what if can one person own 65% of the land and that takes care of all the business?
Well, it's not the owners; it's the acreage in the unit there. So yeah, if it's let's just use easy numbers. If it's a 100-acre unit, which obviously that's not a realistic number, but if it's a 100-acre unit and they have 65 of those acres signed up to a lease, whether that 65 acres is one owner or 500 owners, they'd have the right to force pull that remaining 35%. So yeah, the amount of acres is that 65% threshold.
So theoretically, I get your point that your numbers are just for discussion purposes, but theoretically, a single owner or a couple of individual owners who together own 65% of the acreage in the unit could dictate for everybody else who owns property.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you have, and this isn't uncommon, someone with 200, 300 acres of mineral rights, I mean, that could be half your unit right there. Right. If you get one person to sign up, get a few of his neighbors with some smaller properties, and next thing you know, you have the right to force pull conceivably hundreds of people. So, yeah, it really does tip the scales in that manner where, again, these companies are going to look at how do we take advantage of this statute. That's probably what they're going to go ahead and look at. How do we get this bulk acreage under lease, and then force pull the rest? It really turns over a lot of power, a lot of, I call it flexibility of these companies to really do whatever they want to do.
And theoretically, if you're a landowner who just doesn't want to be part of it at all, period, it doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, you say, no, I just don't want to. I don't want to be part of this at all. I just leave it, go away. I'm not interested in it. They could force you into it anyways.
Well, absolutely, and that's the big thing. It's my property. You use the word undemocratic. You say, I don't know if I want to go that far. I mean, I'll go that far. It is undemocratic. I mean, this is people's land. It's their property. They should have the right to say, yes, I want it developed, and I'll negotiate for it. If I don't get a deal done that I'm satisfied with, then I'm going to say no. And that's, my property won't get developed, and that's fine with me. Or, hey, I don't want it developed at all. And I've never run into somebody in this community that says, no, I don't want my property developed. I run into a lot of people that are my clients saying, I want it developed. I just want terms that I think are fair and reasonable. And the companies, they want to cry and say, well, these terms aren't fair and reasonable. My response to that are, well, then don't take a lease.
Don't take it.
Yeah, I mean, they don't like when somebody wants to negotiate with them, and again, it's not landowners around throwing crazy numbers around and thwarting development somehow. I mean, development's not being thwarted. I mean, I don't know what people are hearing outside of the community, but I work in this industry every day representing landowners, mineral rights owners. The rigs are here, pipelines are being put in the ground, wells are being drilled. This industry is not being stopped, it's not being impeded. Forced pulling is not needed to have oil and gas development in our area. It hasn't been needed over the last decade. It's definitely not needed now.
I'm trying to think of potential problems here that these things could create. If you're a large landowner, so you've got, to use your example, 200 or 300 acres, you may be willing to accept a lesser lease simply because multiplied by 200 acres, it's still a lot of money. Whereas the smaller individual landowner wants a higher rate simply because they got less acreage to get money from, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's, how much money is going to be in my pocket at the end of the day, and, what do I have to give up conceivably to get that? So, yeah, I mean, typically, the large landowners have a lot more bargaining leverage with these companies because it is bulk acreage. They can get it all wrapped up in one lease. The real fear that I have is that unfortunately, we have a history here in our community of a lot of landowners signing really bad deals. You're talking, 13, 14% royalties when I can pick up the phone for a client and get 18% royalties. Signing leases that, look like these companies can't take deductions out of their royalties. But, they have every loophole in the world for them to be able to do so. So if you do get somebody that's 200 or 300 acres, sign a bad lease, that's going to set a precedent for everybody around you. If they're going to sign a bad lease, these companies aren't going to have to negotiate with them too hard, or really not even at all sometimes. And then, again, they can force pull all these other smaller owners out there. So it's going to set the bar lower as far as negotiations go for some of the smaller landowners that want to negotiate, who have every impetus to negotiate. But it's going to allow them to be forced pulled is the real issue here.
Chris, there are a couple of other things I want to get into with you, but I have to do a real quick break. Can you hang on 1 second or two? Okay.
Sure.
It's 9:23 after 9 o'clock in the morning. Watchdog Morning Show underway. Christian Turek is with me. We're talking about forced pooling in West Virginia. A lot of royalty owners have some concerns about this, and we are discussing that. And the conversation will continue in just a minute here on the Watchdog Morning Show for a Monday.
Listen to the Bill DeFabio Variety. Watchdog is protecting your yard. Join Howard Monroe, Hoppy Kercheval, Bill DeFabio, and Big Rick for the best live and local talk in the Upper Ohio Valley and beyond. Claysville trusts the Watchdog.
Watch out! He could climb on his soapbox at any time. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
I can tell you the temperature has risen, but I wish I could tell you it's risen more than this. It's only 24 degrees. 24 degrees at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport, 24 at my home studios here in Elm Grove, and 24 degrees at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. And I got to tell you that 24 only feels like 14 degrees outside. So it's definitely a, get yourself warm today, at least in the morning. Get to the 50s before the day is over and done with. Christian Turek is with me, attorney here in the local area, and we're talking about forced pooling, this concept that the gas companies have they define a unit of property, and then if enough of the landowners agree to a lease with the gas company in that unit, everybody is then forced into that lease. Christian, I have a stupid question. The gas leasing has been going on for so long. Honestly, I thought everything was already leased here in the local area.
I mean, a lot of people think that, and a lot of acreage is currently under lease. But the way these oil and gas leases work is that unless it's being put into production, produced, these companies commence operations to do that, it's not held indefinitely. So a lot of the leases are 5 years, have a 5-year extension. No production's happening during those 10 years or 5 years if it's not extended, and the lease comes up again. So we have hit a little bit of a lull in the market where things aren't as hot as they were, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. So a lot of these leases have come up for renewal, though. So there's a lot of unleased acreage out there, and there's a lot of acreage that will be unleased in the immediate future here.
There are bills introduced into both the House and the Senate in Charleston. I think they call them unitization bills, forced pooling bills, if you will. Where are they, and what's their likelihood of success?
So they're currently both before the House, they're currently before the respective chambers' energy committees right now. I have not heard whether they've been taken up yet at this point. They're kind of sitting in those committees now. We know that there's a supermajority of Republicans down in Charleston right now. We're doing our best to contact those people who make these decisions to try to put pressure on them, to let them know how bad this bill is. Because I honestly don't think a lot of people down in Charleston know how bad this bill is. And I know a lot of people locally don't know how bad this bill is. I just want to make one thing 100% crystal clear here. I oppose forced pooling. I oppose companies being able to take people's properties and do what they want with them against the landowner's consent. That's not the really horrible part of this bill, and why these forced pooling bills are the worst forced pooling bills that West Virginia's ever seen. Because what this bill requires is that once they have the right to force pool you, the lease term that they're going to operate under provides for a 12.5% state minimum royalty. So if you don't agree to their lease terms, you don't agree to what they're offering you, and they force pool you, you get 12.5% royalties. That's it. There's nothing above that. There's no bonus. And it's the company's lease terms. Whatever they propose as far as their lease, that's what they're going to operate under. So to kind of give you some perspective here, they're going right here in Ohio County, Marshall County, Wetzel County, Doddridge, Tyler. It's been 18% royalties. That's not really the big issue. The big fight's been, can I get you above 18%? Can I get you 19%? Can I get you 20%? And I've been successful for certain clients in doing that. But 18%'s been the standard. So we're talking about you don't get a lease, which I can get you 18% with a phone call, basically, and now you're getting 12.5%. No bonus, when I can get you $2,000 to $3,000 right now, probably. Years past, it's been as high as $7,500 an acre. You're taking that away from the landowner here. I mean, to me, that's why it's so bad. To me, that's stealing. You're stealing these people's property rights.
That is so, I don't know what, uncapitalistic, unfair is a difficult term to define. I mean, if I own something, I should be able to determine the value of it and not forced into somebody else's valuation, whether it's the unit's valuation or the state's valuation. I should be able to have my own discussion with somebody I'm selling something to in terms of what I'm willing to accept and what they have to pay. I don't get. I mean, I do get it, but it seems so bizarre to me.
It is. It's bizarre. I don't know what kind of world we're living in. I mean, again, we have a Republican supermajority who claims to be small government, pro-capitalism, individual rights, and this is everything that's against that. And, the Democrats are against it, and I hate to make it into a partisan issue because it shouldn't be a partisan issue. We should all agree to this. This is bad for the people of West Virginia. I call it state-sponsored theft. You're stealing from these people here. 18%. I can pick up the phone and get you 18% royalties, and now you're going to say, I'm going to force pool you. I don't have to negotiate with you in good faith. I can force pool you and get 12.5%. Why would I ever negotiate with you? And I send you a lease offer, you ignore it, I force pool you. I'm getting 5.5% more in royalties than I would have otherwise. And, Howard, to put this into real terms here, we're talking millions of dollars. It might seem like 5.5% is not that much on royalties, but even if someone has 20 acres, over the lifetime of those wells, you're conceivably millions of dollars. And that's putting aside the fact that they don't even have to pay you a bonus, which, for a lot of my clients, who have 50, 60 acres is easily into the six figures. So it's stealing from them. That's what it is. It's theft. These companies are just seeking to jam this through the legislator to steal from these people here. And it's not just going to affect them, not to go off on a different subject here, but, the businesses in town here, it's going to affect them. When someone gets a $200,000 bonus check in the mail for leasing their property, what do? They go down to Moundsville and buy, green acres and go buy a new ATV. They go buy a new tractor. They go to Tractor Supply. So, it's going to hit our local economy too. It's bad all around.
So actually, if the companies probably will just assume that you don't want to take their deal. Because then you're down to 12% or 12.5% or whatever you said.
Why would the companies ever negotiate with you, Howard? Why would they ever negotiate? We can force pull you. The statute says that we don't have to negotiate in good faith. So hey, we send you something in the mail. You don't like it. We're not going to make any other attempts to do anything for you. We're not going to increase our offer because we're going to get the state minimum if we go to force pull you, and we're not going to have to pay a bonus.
The company will get less. They'll have to pay out less if you object, basically.
They are incentivized to force pull you. My standpoint is, again, I'm against force pulling in any shape and form. I do see that there's a flip side to that, and that's why other states have force pulling statutes. But other states' force pulling statutes are written as a kind of insurance policy where we do have somebody that's out there just being completely unreasonable. I want $2 million per acre, and I want 50% royalties. At that point, this person is being unreasonable. It might be impeding development of a unit. Okay, we're going to go down to the whatever commission the state has erected or whatever, and they're going to get fair and reasonable terms down there. That's not the way this bill is written. This bill is written, hey, companies, use it as a sword. Beat people over the head. Sign this lease, or we're going to force pull you, and you're going to get horrible terms. It's stealing. And Howard, I think a lot of my clients here, they're the hardest working, nicest people that you would ever meet. Probably a lot of them didn't have two nickels to rub together at any time during their life. Struggle to put food on a table, provide for a family. Now this Marcellus and Utica boom to hit the area. They finally have some money to buy that tractor they've always wanted, that car they've always wanted, to take that vacation down to Florida. Buy a nice house, fix the roof on their existing house or whatnot. This is real life-changing money for a lot of these people, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And when I see these companies come and say, hey, we're going to take that away from you, not because we can't get a deal done with you, not because you're being unreasonable, but because we're just, frankly, greedy, I can't tell you how much that pisses me off, Howard. It does. It pisses me off.
Well, I hear it. And again, other states probably have a higher percentage too, 65%. I guess it's one thing. I get that conceptually, for example, you've got 90% of the property is in a unit and has signed a lease, and you got 10% somebody just being recalcitrant, whether they want a higher rate or they just want to be recalcitrant and don't want anything. I get you have to at some point say they can't impede the progress, but 65% seems to me to be awfully small number.
Well, I get that there's an argument to why there's force pulling is needed. I don't agree with it, but I understand there's a logical argument for it. And again, it would be under the terms you're describing, 90%, some higher threshold. I would just, to give you a little bit of perspective, the last serious force pulling bill that was proposed in the legislature that failed had an 80% threshold. And that was negotiated by industry, and that was negotiated by people on the landowners, middle owner side, and it was a compromise bill, and that compromise bill was 80%. And that was very, very recently here, and now we get a bill proposed by, industry that is 65%. It's not used as a last resort. It's not meant to be used as a last resort bill for that, that person out there that is just being completely unreasonable. It's a giveaway. It's a, hey, we're we're going to take the rights away from these people, and we're going to give it to these companies.
I hear you.
From both standpoints, it's terrible. They have the right, conceivably, to force pool any landowner out there, really. I can't imagine a situation where they're not going to be able to somehow manage to force pool acreage that they want to force pool under the way the bill's currently written. And then two, which is the issue that I have the most issue with, is the fact that if they do force pool you, again, you're getting that state minimum 12.5% royalty, no bonus. I mean, it's theft.
Christian, I appreciate your time this morning. I have to move on. Good conversation. At least we've made the public aware of what's going on. I know it's a sort of an inside baseball thing for those who have leases, but I think we, the public, need to know more about it. So I appreciate it. Keep us up to date on what's happening as time goes by. Will you please?
Thank you, Howard. I will.
All right, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Christian Turek with us here, local attorney, talking about these forced pooling bills, one in each of the houses of the legislature that is pending. God help us, everything is... Oh, when this session is over and done with. In fact, we'll talk about that coming up in a minute or two. We got our Capitol report not far away. Got a few other odds and ends about West Virginia I want to get into. But first, let's get some news in here from Metro News.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
Okay, I'm back.
We think you'll be surprised to learn some interesting facts about bankruptcy. Call 877-456-4155.
The Watchdog prides itself in being involved in our community, and we want to hear from you. Does your organization have an event that you would like promoted on the radio? Please send us the details via our website, watchdognetwork.com. Just click on our contact page and fill the information. Live, local, and here for our community. Share your events with the Watchdog.
In a hurry and need to see a doctor? The Woodsdale Health Center and Walk-In Clinic is located across from Little Caesars on National Road. Open 7 to 7 Monday through Friday. Patients can receive primary care, treatment of minor illnesses and injuries, wellness visits and physicals. There's also a lab draw station open from 8 to noon weekdays. A division of Wheeling Hospital, the Woodsdale Health Center is led by family physician Dr. Michael Wilson. Call 304-234-1971. They'll take good care of you.
Listen to the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe. Weekday mornings 7 to 10 a.m. Only on the Watchdog. Live and local talk radio just the way you like it.
If you miss a part of the show or want to listen again, you can find conversations, interviews, and rants on our podcasts at Apple Podcasts or on watchdognetwork.com. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
I gotta do this, Diffie. I gotta share this story. Another example of the language police hard at work, okay? We got private school in New York City is encouraging its students to no longer use the phrase mom or dad. Instead, they should use phrases like grown-ups or family. But don't say mom or dad. We can use language to create welcoming and inclusive spaces. This guide addresses ways we can remove harmful assumptions from the way we interact with each other. Now, let me be clear here. I do understand sometimes you have to be careful, and I'm always very careful. For example, if I meet a kid and I don't know the family situation, you got to be careful you don't automatically say, well, you go home and see your mommy, okay, because maybe there's no mommy. I mean, I get that. But they sent out this document to the school. This is a private school in New York City. They sent out this document to all their students that perhaps they should stop referring to mom and dad. Just call them the grown-ups. I mean, that's just, I don't even know what to say about it. Just stop. Just stop. Stop. Again, I mean, certainly teach kids, and parents really should do this, or school, teach kids that not everybody's family is the same. I'm in for that. Not everybody has a mommy and daddy at home. Not every, I mean, you know what you want to, but tell them not to use mom and dad.
But don't they teach about the family unit in schools, or did that go away too?
Well, I don't know. It's a private school. I'm guessing they probably do teach about the family unit. And my guess is that these kids, especially in a big private school, I'm looking at a picture of the school itself. Don't judge a book by its cover. But this is one of those old mansion-looking school, not Joe Manchin, but like a mansion. I mean, it's like 3 stories, Gothic gargoyles all over it, and so on. It's an old hide-bound private school in New York City. And it just seems to me that probably they do teach their kids to be cognizant of the fact that not everybody has a traditional family unit. And I get that. That's important to teach them. I do not want to dismiss that. But don't say don't use mom and dad.
But that's fine that you want to teach them, but I'm sure at some point in that lesson they learn, okay, not every family has a mother and a father. Sometimes it's just the mother. Sometimes it might just be the father. And unfortunately, and we see it here in West Virginia, and it's sad to say this, but sometimes it's the grandparents that have to raise the kids.
Certainly.
Because of certain situations. So I mean, as long as they're getting that and knowing that not every family is going to have a mother and a father in it, you know, they should be fine. I mean, what are we doing?
This same document suggests to the kids they should not use husband or wife as a phrase, but rather use partner. And again, I get it. Not all couples that, you know, are a family unit are married, so they're not technically husband and wife. Use partner. Again, these are things that are probably good to teach kids, but when you start getting down to the language part of it, it really bothers me. Also, this one just gets me because picture some kid. What age kids are these? It's a private school. I'm getting the sense that it's well, I'm looking at a picture here of a kid, and she's probably 6 or 7, so I think it's probably an elementary school. Students are encouraged to avoid phrases like minority, and instead use, now, it's not that you should avoid using minority, I get that, but instead use the phrase marginalized identity population.
Oh, yeah, because a 6-year-old is going to remember that. I mean, come on. Really? Now we're getting carried away.
The story I have here comes from NBC News, so it's a legitimate story. And again, I get the premise. I understand what these people are trying to do. I truly do. I truly, truly do. And I do think it's important the kids understand the concept of a family unit is not the same for everybody. But, you know, just... You know, it's kind of like we talked before about, you know, cartoons and real cartoon violence and real violence. Kids will figure it out, Biff. Kids will figure it out. If they know the dynamics of families, they'll understand, you know, that not everybody has a mommy at home or a daddy at home, and not everybody's mommy and daddy is married. Kids will get that a lot faster than most adults will anymore, right?
And again, I've said it I don't know how many times, but kids are smarter than we think.
Absolutely. I mean, and kids are smarter than we are sometimes.
Sometimes they are, and they figure it out. Trust me, I've got a little one who's going to be my niece. I don't personally have a little one. I'm talking about my niece here, okay? She's I don't have any kids that I know of that are running around, but
a lot of people's eyebrows just went.
I know. Let me re-clarify that. My niece, who's going to be 5 this year, and I mean, you would think she's going on 15, 16 with some of the stuff that she says, and I mean, she can have a conversation with you, and she just goes on and on and on, and I mean, and she figures it out, and then she figures it out pretty quick.
Pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean,
we don't give them enough credit.
No, we
don't. They're smarter than we think. They're smarter than we think.
Howard, the scary part is I could give her my cell phone right now and she would know how to unlock it.
Oh, okay, yeah. The thing that we've noticed about Teddy recently is he has got a calendar in his head. I mean, he'll tell me, now Wednesday, Granddad, I have got to go to Scouts. And on Saturday, he said, 2 more days till I stop having spring break, but on Monday I have a remote class to go to first, and then on Monday night I have Scouts. And it's like, the kid keeps all this in his brain. I don't know what I'm doing at 10 o'clock today. And he can give me his entire week, so kids are smarter than we think. Hey, real quick, the gambling industry is expecting about the same number of people to bet on March Madness this year as they did in 2019 after the NCAA basketball tournament was canceled because of the coronavirus. The American Gaming Association predicted Sunday that more than 47 million Americans plan to make a bet this year. My friends, if you're among those 47 million Americans who want to bet, great way to bet is on FanDuel. But keep in mind, there's always one team that ruins your bracket, right? That's why this year, when you bet the tournament on FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook, your first bet is risk-free. It doesn't matter, no matter what team you are betting. New users get up to $1,000 in site credit back if your first bet doesn't win. FanDuel has odds on all the action with games day and night, an easy-to-use app, multiple deposits, fast withdrawals, always on promotions. So your next chance to win with FanDuel is only minutes away, whether it's March Madness or any of the other sporting events that FanDuel lets you place bets on. And if that's not enough, FanDuel wants to make you a millionaire. Yes, you, a millionaire. They're giving away $1 million to one lucky bettor. New and existing users get an additional shot at the payout every day you bet the tournament. So if you want a shot at becoming a millionaire, or even a thousandaire, download FanDuel, use my name, and enroll in the promo code box. That's why they know I sent you. FanDuel Sportsbook. You must be 21 or older, physically present in West Virginia or Pennsylvania. No purchase necessary. Restrictions do apply for the $1 million drawing. Risk-free offer for the first online real money wager only. Site credit is non-withdrawable, expires in 14 days. Restrictions do apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. And remember, if you have a gambling problem, don't download FanDuel, but rather go to 1-800-GAMBLER.net or call 1-800-GAMBLER. FanDuel Sportsbook, more ways to win. You're always a winner when you watch WTRF TV, and Bob Westfall's here to tell us some things that you might be seeing today when you're watching it. Good morning, Bob.
Morning, Howard. How was your weekend?
It was quiet, pleasant, nice. Got outside a little bit, a couple times, and like always, ate well. You know, that's important to me, eating well.
Yeah.
Slept in on Sunday. I didn't lose an hour, even though they say you lose an hour of sleep. I didn't lose an hour. I just
slept longer.
Just slept longer. That's exactly right.
So what was yours? What'd you get your wife?
For
wasn't it an anniversary or birthday or something?
Oh, birthday. Oh, her birthday. Yeah. What? I think I got her some pots and pans.
Really?
Yeah.
That's why I got divorced. Seriously, I bought my wife something for the kitchen, and that was the end of it.
Yeah, no, I bought pots and pans.
Wow.
That's what I bought, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Wow, I'm surprised we're filing a missing persons report for you.
Well, she said, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like that. Oh, well, that's nice. So, yes, we did have a big party for her, though, so that was kind of fun. Now, when I say we, my daughter-in-law did all the work, and my grandson, but I took credit for it.
You supervised, right, Howard?
I told her what to do. I told my daughter-in-law what to do. I said, make a party happen. I told her what to do. What are you working on today, Bob?
A couple things we're working on is just a reminder. Tomorrow, the eastbound lanes of 70 will be switched over to the other side, so they can begin work on that part of the bridge work as part of the I-70 project. Just a reminder, lane change, let's slow it down. Be safe, because I think that's going to be a really interesting lane shift, just because of where the exits are and coming out of the tunnel. Yes. So we should see something like that, but we're going to preview that a little bit today. So we'll have that, another step in the bridge project. Like I said last week, almost halfway through it, so we're doing pretty good. But anyway, lane change tomorrow. We'll remind everybody about that later today. Something else we're going to work on, it's Severe Weather Awareness Week. Several counties will have tornado alarms, tornado warnings tomorrow. Sirens will ring in areas where they actually still work. So we're going to preview that today with Tom Hart down in Marshall County. Sometimes the weather gets pretty nasty here in the spring. A lot of heavy rain, flooding, creeks. It can be gorgeous at 1 minute, and then 10 minutes later we could have creeks up over their banks and stuff like that with a heavy storm. So just kind of a reminder of that. That's kind of where we're going right now with the spring. A couple other things. Free shelter. The youth services free shelter too. It's their last day. We're going to take a look back to see what they've done, but also it doesn't end here. I mean, just because things are starting to get warmer, we still are dealing with homeless within the community. So we're going to find out what they're doing and what they need to help people that they help. So that's another story. DK is going to work on that today. So we're going to work forward on that to find out what they are doing.
All right, sounds good. A lot of good stuff coming up. Noon, 5, 6, 10, 11, 5:30 for the statewide show, as always. And we check things out throughout the day, keeping on top of things at WTRF.com or on your Facebook page of WTRF, where there's all sorts of good stuff. And lots of comments on the various stories that you post. So check things out. Bob, good talking to you. We'll do it again tomorrow. Thanks a lot.
All right, guys. Take it easy.
Appreciate it. Bob Westphal from the Big 7 here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Well, I think that's about it for me. I'm going to say sayonara, see you, bye-bye, farewell. I got to go. I got to get out of here. Coming up next, statewide talk line. Kirchhoff's got the comm. Among his guests, Senator Joe Manchin is in today. So is Steve Roberts, the president of the Chamber of Commerce, to talk about the Chamber's concerns over the governor's tax bill. And Mike Clauser from the Business Industry Council is coming in as well. All of that's coming up today on Statewide Talk Line. As for me, good Lord willing, creeks don't rise, bat phone doesn't ring, and don't get impeached, and don't retire. Ticker keeps on ticking. Don't overeat. And most importantly, Teddy says, it's all right. You can go back to work tomorrow, Granddad. I'll be here tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, on the Go Run of the Big Gig. Are you back with me, Biffy?
I will return for Tuesday.
We will keep on doing it till we get it right.
That'll be a long time.
Indeed.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
From ABC.
Okay, I had a lot of stuff I didn't get to today, but yeah, it was good. We got a lot of good stuff in, I think. I always enjoy Jack. Jack is so good. You know, it's we'll do them again next week once they get to the opening statements in that trial. It's kind of interesting. He's been doing MSNBC every night, and I think he did CNN too. I thought if he's going to do the big boys, he might as well do us too. So, yeah, he's always happy to, he's always willing to help out. Let's see. Tomorrow I've got some guy from WVU talking about that Reddit GameStop deal where they had this, everybody bought the GameStop stock and stock went up like crazy. So, yeah, so we're going to talk tomorrow to a WVU professor on that. And I'll track down somebody from the legislature because that's what we do. Normally I have Bill on Mondays, Elon Phil, but I didn't have him today because I had too much else going on. So maybe tomorrow, we'll see. And who knows what else is about to happen. It could be something totally out of the blue, which will be all right. That's exactly right. Plenty still can happen. All right, I will be around if you need me. I'm going to try and find out what we're doing with the Watchdog Madness because I truly don't know. I know what we're doing. I just don't know how we're doing it. Good. That's good. Okay. Okay. All right, I'll try and track more info about that down today. And anything else going on I need to know about? Any problems? Anything happening that I ought to know about? Okay. Games go okay this weekend? Okay, what I listened to sounded good. The only thing is, I'm never good about telling Jerry. I thought he was a little bit too hot. His mic. I mean, it was at his end. I think he had his mic running a little bit hot. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, but if you're going to go, because they're going to go crazy, you know you're going to need more volume. I mean, they know that. So you should not start out at a high, the mic should be a little bit lower, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Right. Well, I don't think it was, I think you did the best you could have. Nothing was bad, first of all, to begin by saying that. I just thought at their end, the mics were a little bit hot. And, but that's, it still sounded good. It was fine. Did they use Zoom? Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Bonnie uses Zoom. They could use it in there. Of course, maybe they didn't have enough. Where was the game at? Central? Oh, no, Glenn. Okay. Do they have good Wi-Fi up there? Do you have any idea? Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Well, then you don't want to do that. All right. Well, anyways, if anything's going on you need to let me know about, I should be home all day or after I take my nap to celebrate National Nap Day. All right. If you need me, I'll be around. Otherwise, thanks for your help, and I'll talk to you in the morning. Yep. All right. Bye.
The right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. Again, that's 877-ASK-DELL.
Brian Clark, ABC News.
This guy knows so much about sports. They based the Sports Almanac from Back to the Future off of his dream journal. He's Bill DeFabio, weekdays noon to 2 on the Valley's only network dedicated to live and local talk radio, The Watchdog.
Hello, everyone. From The Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster. With a look at your local weather forecast for your Monday. Look for mostly cloudy skies, a few peaks of sunshine, a daytime high of 47. Chance of seeing a few scattered showers through the overnight, otherwise mostly cloudy, with a low near 41. Early morning showers scattered on your Tuesday. The daytime highs are in the lower 60s as the afternoon sunshine comes out. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From The Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
Coal Rain. The Watchdog is protecting your yard. Join Howard Monroe, Hoppy Kercheval, Bill DeFabio, and Big Rick for the best live and local talk in the Upper Ohio Valley and beyond. Coal Rain trusts the Watchdog. The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
News Radio Network.
Attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency note. Repeat, this is an emergency button. Keep your radio turned on.
Holy smoke. From the studios of the West Virginia Radio Corporation and the Metro News Radio Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful radio show in West Virginia. This is Metro News Talk Live with Hoppy Kercheval.
Check set line up link. Activated Telus telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgan Center.
Stand by. Q Hoppy. You're on.
Metro News Talk Line with Hoppy Kercheval is brought to you by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most.